Caitlin Clark just walked away from $1 million. Twice. Last night, Breanna Stewart scored 32 points and won the Unrivaled championship. Confetti fell. The crowd went crazy. And Breanna Stewart held up that trophy like she'd been waiting her whole life for this moment. But here's the thing. The biggest story out of Unrivaled isn't who won, it's who wasn't there. Clark was offered a deal worth over $1 million, plus ownership equity in the league, to show up and play. She said no. Not once, twice. And now the co-founder of that league, the woman who built it from scratch, just went on record calling WNBA leadership, quote, the worst in the world. Caitlin Clark is standing in the middle of the biggest war in women's sports history, and she's choosing a side that nobody expected. Here's what we're going to break down today. What was actually in that offer, and why the people who made it compared it to what Lionel Messi got when he came to America. Why Caitlin Clark, the Iowa Hawkeyes legend who earns $78,000 a year from the WNBA, walked away from 7 figures, and what she's doing instead. And the most explosive moment of this whole story. A private conversation between a WNBA founder and the league commissioner that just became very, very public. What the commissioner allegedly said about Caitlin Clark in that meeting is going to make your jaw drop. Let's start with the offer itself. Back in the fall of 2024, reporters at Front Office Sports broke a story. Unrivaled was preparing what they called a Lionel Messi-like deal for. That's what Unrivaled wanted from Caitlin Clark. Reports put the salary at over $1 million for less than 3 months of work, plus a player equity stake, actual ownership shares in the league, plus revenue sharing. For context, Clark's entire WNBA salary last season was $78,000. That's her rookie scale contract, the league's starting rate for its biggest star. The Unrivaled offer was more than 12 times that. Just for showing up, Clark turned it down. Unrivaled went ahead with Season 1 anyway, and it actually worked. The league drew real talent, real fans, and landed a deal with TNT Sports. So what happened when Season 2 came around? They went back to Clark with another offer, same structure, same open door. Clark said no again, and she wasn't alone. A'ja Wilson, the WNBA's 2-time MVP and the best player in the league, also declined Unrivaled both seasons. Wilson said she wouldn't completely cut it out for the future, but she wasn't ready yet. When your 2 biggest stars both pass, that's a statement. This time, Clark skipped Unrivaled to focus on her off-season training and her work with USA Basketball heading into the next Olympic cycle. Now, Unrivaled Commissioner Mickey Lawler was asked about it directly. Her answer was gracious. She said, "The door is always open. This is not built for one player." But here's what nobody's saying out loud. When the league's most marketable player turns down your offer twice and goes on to win a championship on the world stage with Team USA instead, that sends a message. And the timing of all this couldn't be more loaded. As of today, the WNBA and its players are 3 days from a critical deadline. League leadership has told the Players Association that March 10th is the cutoff. If a new collective bargaining agreement, a CBA, isn't signed by then, the May 8th season start is in jeopardy. The players have called the league's offer not worth taking. The whole women's basketball world is holding its breath. And right in the middle of that tension, Breanna Stewart just won an Unrivaled championship. The league that was built, at least in part, as a challenge to the WNBA's power structure. This war has layers. So how did we get here? To understand Unrivaled, you have to understand what Breanna Stewart and Napheesa Collier were actually trying to solve. For decades, the best women's basketball players in the world had 2 choices in the offseason: go home and rest, or fly to Russia, Turkey, Spain, and play for foreign leagues that paid real money. The WNBA's max salary, even for a superstar, didn't come close to paying the bills year-round. So Stewart and Collier decided to build something different. A domestic off-season league, 3-on-3, fast-paced, played in the United States, and, crucially, one that paid players like professionals. They launched Unrivaled in January of 2025. 30 players, 6 teams, a deal with TNT Sports. The average salary? Over $200,000. Every single player also received equity, an ownership stake in the league itself. That was the key word, ownership. These women weren't just employees. They were building something they could eventually sell. That's what the Messi deal was modeled on. Not just a big salary, a stake in the future. And the league has grown fast. This season added 2 new teams, more roster spots, and a $600,000 championship prize pool, up from $50,000 a player last year. Stewart and Collier have proved the concept works, but there's a tension underneath all of it that Collier finally brought into the open last fall. At the end of the 2025 WNBA season, Napheesa Collier sat down for her end-of-season interview with reporters, and she came prepared. She read from a written statement. 4 minutes, no hesitation. She said the real threat to the WNBA wasn't money or ratings, or even bad officiating. It was, and I'm quoting directly here,
"It's the lack of accountability from the league office."
She described WNBA officiating as self-sabotage. She said the league had reached
levels of inconsistency that plague our sport and undermine the integrity
of the sport. And then she went further. She described a private meeting she had with WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. The meeting took place in February 2025 at the Unrivaled facility, of all places. Collier said she asked Engelbert directly how she planned to fix the fact that young players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Bueckers, who are driving massive revenue, are making almost nothing in their first 4 years. Here's what Collier says Engelbert told her.
"Caitlin should be grateful she makes $60 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything."
And then Collier says the commissioner added this.
"Players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them."
The room went silent. Collier ended her statement with a line that every woman in that league clearly felt.
"We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world."
The commissioner pushed back. She called herself disheartened by how her comments were characterized. She said her commitment to the players will not waver. But the damage was done. And when reporters asked Caitlin Clark what she thought, she didn't dodge it. "I have great respect for Fee," Clark said, "and I think she made a lot of very valid points." She went further. She said this is straight up the most important moment in this league's history. So here's where we land. Breanna Stewart just won a championship in the league she built, the league that tried to sign Caitlin Clark twice. Napheesa Collier, Stewart's co-founder, has publicly declared war on the same institution that writes Clark's paycheck. And Caitlin Clark is somewhere in between. She backed Collier's words. She's spoken up about player pay. She understands exactly what this moment means. But she didn't join Unrivaled. She didn't take the Messi deal. She went to work with Team USA instead. Maybe that's the most calculated move of all. Messi didn't just take Inter Miami's money. He chose his moment. He showed up when the stage was right. And when the WNBA's next chapter gets written, whether it's a new CBA, a new commissioner, or something none of us have seen yet, and Caitlin Clark is going to be at the center of it. She's not taking the $1 million right now, because she's playing for something worth a lot more.